everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is JG's Trains. My name is Jeff, and boy do we have another choo-choo review for you. I have a CSX General Electric AC4400CW, number 366. Here's the kicker though. This was the original Chessie system, but it's the sticker unit. And we're going to show you this model from MTH and go over a little brief history on the real locomotive. This locomotive doesn't claw you or meow, but it does purr around the layout. And another side note, which we'll tell about in the video, is nobody likes a burnt cat. But we'll get to that later on what happened to this locomotive. Some brief history on the railroad itself and this locomotive in question. First, the CSX was formed on August 31st of 1987 when the Chessie system and the Seaboard Coastline merged to make CSX. And in popular belief, we all think the C stands for Chessie, the S stands for Seaboard, and X is just a letter thrown in there. At least that's what rail fans and most of us think. We are not 100% sure if that is the case, but we're going to go with that because it sounds better. To talk about the so-called sticker heritage units that CSX did, I can't exactly know the date time frame, but I would say it was in between 2010 and 2015. CSX, part of their CSX Waycross, Georgia shops, they decided to take at least 10 locomotives and put a herald on the front nose of all the predecessor railroads that made up CSX. Number 366 you see here got the Chessie system herald, which as you can see right up here on the very front nose, there's the logo of cute little Chessie the cat. Unfortunately, this is where the story of this locomotive becomes a little dim and dark. The CSX number 366, otherwise known as the Chessie, it was involved in an incident on March 7th, 2016. The ironic part is, the guy that was operating the locomotive at the day was DJ's Trains, which is on YouTube. He's got very good content. If you guys want to see the video where he actually goes over the incident and what happened, it's a very good video. I'll leave the link to his video in my description. On that day, there was two head-end locomotives, with 366 being the lead locomotive, carrying 106 freight cars, heading to Chicago from Cumberland, Maryland. When they got into the Pittsburgh area, it caught fire when they were going through a tunnel, and at the last minute, DJ's Trains and his conductor made a decision to get the train out of the tunnel so that they can be able to escape safely. So this is where the story of the Chessie system sticker unit ends, because after this fire occurred, the locomotive was down for about 3 years, give or take, and then when it emerged out of the Waycross, Georgia shops, all repainted, redone, the logo was gone, but it was still number 366, so the locomotive still is around today, but it is not the sticker unit anymore. It is just a regular old CSX. Now that we've gone over some brief history about 366, let's go over this model from MTH. The AC4400CW, or what it stands for, AC, alternating current, 4400 for the horsepower rating, C designates 3-axle trucks, and the W is a wide North American cab. This locomotive has die-cast trucks, fuel tank, frame, ABS body, all painted, nicely detailed and everything, added handrails, a brake wheel here, some screens, some steps and ladders, venting for air vents. Here's the Chessie logo right here. I like the lightning bolt, that's always nice. That's a deal that they did for the AC traction motors. You got drainage holes in the steps, you got painted detail on the fuel tank, all these legible little signage and stickers and everything all over the side of it. Up on top we got an added horn. Here's the operating smokestack. This is a really nice touch. These definitely come in handy with the newer locomotives where you can pop off this shroud. Here's the top of your rear motor. You got controls for volume and smoke output, for 3-rail and 2-rail application, and then for DCS or conventional power, you have this switch here. That all comes in handy and everything instead of having it back in the day where you had to flip it upside down, all the switches went underneath, so that's a nice touch. We have a spinning roof fan up top. Like I said, we got safety chain, we got ditch lights on the front. It's got ProtoSound 3.0 on board, and since this is a 3-rail model, we have the 3-rail pickup and everything. operating front and rear couplers on this. It's got operating headlight and backup light. It has number boards up on the front. The cab is lighted but will shut off when the engine starts running. It's got crew talk, horn, bell, all the bells and whistles. Kind of funny how I said that. MTH makes a really good quality product like I always say, and this one's a good runner. And in a little bit, I'm going to fire it up. We'll go over the sounds and everything. Then we'll hook it up to a freight train and we'll let it roll around. Alright, to fire this locomotive up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my DCS remote right here. I already have the engine up, CSX AC4400, number 366. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the soft keys, hit the more button, go over to the arrow, hit more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do extended startup on this guy. So let's hear it.
Good job. The train is still on the tracks.
Hey, I'm a professional. Expect nothing less than perfection.
Okay, we'll handle that.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
I'm going out to check on that knuckle. Make sure you didn't break something.
Connect the airlines while you're down there.
He's in good shape. Fuel is topped off.
Now we've gone over some sounds of the locomotive. Now I'm going to hook it up to a freight train and we're going to roll it out. But one little tidbit thing I saw. I definitely love the little freedom flag right there. Nice touch. Alright, let's get her hooked up to a freight train. Now I got the old Chessie hooked up to a freight train. As it goes by, I'll show you what piece of rolling stocks I have on the train, and you'll see I'll have a recurring theme for the video. But let's get ready to roll her out. First up, I have a nickel plate road junk load gondola load car from MTH, a Baltimore American Pilsner beer reefer car from MTH, a Conrail mail car, very nice by MTH, and then to top it off, a auto carrier transport car from MTH in the Baltimore, Ohio scheme. Beautiful car. It's got this in York this past spring. Love this car. After a long day of hauling freight, it's time to shut her down.
How'd you run? You ran great. Thanks.
This CSX AC4400CW locomotive is just a beautiful engine. It runs good, it sounds good, it pulls good, And let's not forget about the two best things of all. It's got a kitty cat as the Chessie, and it's got a freedom flag. All said and done. This is a beautiful locomotive. The MTH item number is a 20-20632-1. That is the high rail version. You also have -2, which would be scale wheels, and then a -3, which would be non-powered. This locomotive is really cool. It's got good history. Unfortunately, it's not around anymore. But now that CSXs start rolling out their new heritage, where it's actually more like a heritage unit, this one will kind of like be forgotten. But when I saw my local hobby shop had this one, I was excited because I thought it was really cool. I loved the little Chessie logo on it, and I wanted a CSX locomotive in their regular paint scheme. So it was a win-win for me. So this locomotive will run on 042 curves as its minimum curve. It's 19.5 inches long. And to get the most features out of it, you should run it with the DCS or the digital command system, but you can run it conventional with just a transformer. And that about wraps it up. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. And until next time, this is Jeff from JG Trains, signing out.